Hey, AP2 students, we are going to do a video about the sheep brain today. Sheep brain. I didn't mean to say sheep brain. This is not a brain, is it? This is a heart. Yeah. This video is starting off strong. Excellent. This is a sheep heart right here. And this sheep heart is the front of it. This is an anterior view. And I can actually tell this is an anterior view for a couple reasons. Do you see how there's this like diagonal line of fattiness here? This diagonal line of fattiness is in the front. And that diagonal line of the fattiness is called the anterior interventricular sulcus. So if I see that, I know it's the front. I can also see a flappy, wrinkly guy right here. That flappy, wrinkly guy is my right auricle. I can see a flappy, wrinkly guy over here. Flappy, wrinkly guy over here, that is my left auricle. I see these auricles in the front. They're folded towards the front. So another reason this is anterior. Third reason this is anterior is I see this blood vessel right here in the front. This blood vessel right here in the front, that is the pulmonary trunk. And the pulmonary trunk is also going to be anterior. So we got three clues that are telling me that this is an anterior view. Okay, good. Let's go through some structures here. Got the apex of the heart down here. Apex of the heart right here. Now, this whole guy right here is the left ventricle. So if you found the apex, you've also found the left ventricle. Okay? Excellent. So that's our apex. Let's do some more stuff. There's that right auricle. We mentioned that earlier. Look at that little flappy guy. The word auricle means a little ear because someone thought this thing looked like a little ear. And the job of that auricle is for expansion. So remember, we see that flappy little auricle in the front. In the front, okay? And speaking of auricles, well, there's the left auricle. And so if you found the auricles, you found the atria. And if I actually draw a line right here, this line is actually going to separate my ventricles. These are my ventricles down below, and my atria are up here. In the sheep heart, the atria are really flat and deflated. The auricles are flat and deflated. Because remember, those are receiving chambers. Their walls are thin. When there's no blood in them, they're going to collapse. All right, so we got our auricles, we got our apex. We're doing some good A words here. This is our right ventricle. Notice how I'm just under the right auricle. I'm under that pulmonary trunk. This is the right ventricle. Remember, we had that line of fattiness. That was my anterior interventricular sulcus, right? Interventricular, so between the ventricles. So as my right ventricle, I can also see my left ventricle. Note how we're underneath that left auricle. Note how we're to the left of that interventricular sulcus. Note how we're including the apex here. So as my left ventricle. Again, note how high the ventricles go. So, blood vessels. I already mentioned this guy right here. One of my favorite all-time blood vessels for a lab exam. This guy right here, do you remember what that was? Somebody tell me. That was the pulmonary trunk. And if I find the pulmonary trunk, I'm going to find two blood vessels usually above it. And notice I got a little guy right here and a bigger guy right here. The little guy is my brachiocephalic artery. The bigger guy is my aorta. And these guys have both been cut. Sometimes the aorta has been cut lower, like there, then you don't see the brachiocephalic. So it does kind of depend on the sheep heart that you got. All right. So there's that aorta. So again, let's just review these blood vessels up top. If I find my auricles, there's my right auricle, there's my left auricle. I find my pulmonary trunk in between. And then above it, I got 1, 2, little, big. Little one is my brachiocephalic artery. And my big one right here is my aorta. All right. Excellent, excellent. Talked about that pulmonary trunk already. We're rounding out all the things we can see in the front here. Pulmonary trunk is there. Find it. Brachiocephalic and aorta. All right, cool. Lastly, mention this from the get-go. This is the anterior interventricular sulcus. That diagonal fatty line separates the right ventricle from the left ventricle. Lets me know I'm looking at the front. Okay, we spun this guy around. This is the back. Do I nicely see the pulmonary trunk here? No. Do I nicely see the auricles like right here? No, no. Instead, I have a more vertical line of fat that is called the posterior interventricular sulcus. And that is a good clue that I am in the back. All right, there's more stuff visible in this posterior view. Of course, there's the posterior interventricular sulcus, more vertical. This up here, let's orient ourselves a little bit. I mean, I've labeled the inferior vena cava, but let's orient ourselves a little bit. This is the right auricle. All right, so it's kind of like I got my whole right atrium over here, okay? And if I find a hole towards the bottom of the right atrium, well, that hole is going to be my inferior vena cava. Of course, it takes blood back to the right atrium. There's my superior vena cava. So again, remember I found that right auricle. I got my right atrium and a hole at the top of the right atrium. That is the superior vena cava. What I like to do on exams, if I'm setting up an exam, I like to stick a probe and have it go into that superior vena cava and then come out that inferior vena cava. And so you can see like both the top and the bottom. I can label one of them and you can tell me what it is. All right, so we got 2 major blood vessels up there. Let's keep going. Whoops. Let's not dawdle here. So we were talking about the vena cava. Here was the superior vena cava right here. Here was the inferior vena cava. They are going to help me find the edge of the right atrium. So this is basically my right atrium here. There's my right atrium. If this is my right atrium, then over on the other side, I'm going to have my left atrium. Kind of messed up looking, but I do see holes. I could stick a probe in this hole right here. I could stick a probe and open up this hole right here. These are holes in my left atrium. So we got to ask yourself, well, what goes into the left atrium? Of course, it is the pulmonary veins. Okay, cool. Let's keep on going. I still see my aorta sneaking up there. Still got him. There's my right atrium. There's my left atrium. We kind of did that already, didn't we? There's my right ventricle. There's my left ventricle. Pretty cool. Not bad. And now, whoa, we've opened up the right ventricle. And I can see so many good things. So many good things. I am going to know this is the right. You know, sometimes it's hard to tell, like, because it's been cut open. And it's like, well, all right, if we were on the outside, I could tell. But there are internal clues. Look at this wall here, okay? This wall here is not that thick. That is a clue it is the right, because the left would have a much thicker wall. Also, I see this guy. This guy right here, we'll talk about him more in a second. This guy is called the moderator band. The moderator band is only on the right ventricle, not in the left ventricle. Okay, cool. So this is a tricuspid valve flap. So I know I'm on the right for the reasons I just gave you a moment ago. I can see this is something, and I can see these little guys. Look at the little strings. These strings, as we'll point out in a second, are called chordae tendineae. You knew that. And chordae tendineae are attached to the atrioventricular valves. And since this is the right side, because of the moderator band and the less than thick wall, I know this must be my tricuspid valve. This is a tricuspid valve flap. Right side plus chordae tendineae lets me know I got my tricuspid valve. All right, that is excellent. Good job. Let's keep on going. See what else we can find. There's one of those chordae tendineae. Remember the valve flaps for the AV valves have like a swinging door hinge. We don't want them to flip upward, so we anchor them with these strings of collagen called chordae tendineae. Now, if we follow the chordae tendineae down, we hit a bulging muscle. Bulging muscle like that is a papillary muscle, anchoring the chordae tendineae. I also see that moderator band. The moderator band is only found in the right side. The moderator band is part of the heart's, that's how you spell heart, part of the heart's electrical conduction system. So in lecture, we talked about the SA node, the AV node, the AV bundle, the left and right bundle branches. And the moderator band is actually part of that pathway, part of that system. Did we mention a moderator band when we did the human heart model? No, we did not. Humans have a moderator band, but it's not as dramatically big as that of a sheep. In humans, the moderator band is often called the septomarginal trabeculum, and it's smaller. So our heart model actually does not show it to us. So that's the moderator band. Cool, cool. We also have some ridges of muscle in the ventricle wall here, not associated with a valve flap. And these ridges of muscle are the trabeculae carneae, literally ridges of meat. And with that, we're done with that view of the right ventricle. This is a slightly more challenging view, okay? Let me back up for a second. Bear with me here. Went all the way to the front. Where is it? Come on, front. There it is. All the way to the front. Imagine I grabbed this heart. Okay, I grabbed this heart. I just grabbed it in my fist. Here's my thumb. My fingers are like coming around over here. How many fingers do I have? And I grabbed it, all right? And then what I did is I cut this guy open. Okay? So I cut this pulmonary trunk open, and I kind of like peeled back the two flaps that I did. All right, so I cut this pulmonary trunk open because I want to look at the base of the pulmonary trunk. Okay? So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, please, please. And I'm going to jump back. Where was I? Boom, 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 boom. There it is. So this is the pulmonary trunk right here. This is the pulmonary trunk. It's going up. It's going down. There's my thumb and my fingers. And this is the base of the pulmonary trunk. And what I see here are these little valve flaps right here. These little valve flaps. These are pulmonary semilunar valve flaps. So here's the thing. If the pulmonary trunk is dissected, well, what are you going to see? you're going to see these little flappy guys. And these little flappy guys here, they're little pouches. Remember, the semilunar valves are pouch valves. They're little pouches, and that is the pulmonary semilunar valve, okay? So if that trunk is open up, you're going to see those pulmonary semilunar valve flaps. All right, good. We've now got both ventricles opened up, and we can see so much. Can you figure out which is the left and the right? Well, look at the wall thicknesses. So this has got to be my left side. This has got to be my right side. Let's name a bunch of stuff we're going to see in these views. There is a mitral valve flap. Check out the chordae tendineae, thick wall, left side, mitral valve flap. Chordae tendineae right there, any of those strings. Big old papillary muscle on the left. Big papillary muscle on the left. Remember, the left is a generator of more pressure, so everything is going to be thicker and stronger on that left side. Okay, this is the left ventricle right here. The aorta is coming out up here, okay? And so this flap, no chordae tendineae attached to it, that is an aortic semilunar valve flap. So if you find a valve flap, ask yourself, does it have chordae tendineae? If it does, it's AV, which means it's either mitral or tricuspid. And then if there's no chordae tendineae, then we're going to have a semilunar valve. And again, we got to figure out, is it to the left or is it to the right? If it's to the left, it's aortic. If it's from the right ventricle, it is going to be pulmonary. Okay. Excellent. There's that interventricular septum, big and thick, separating the right ventricle from the left. Here is a sheep heart. This is for you to play with. Can you name everything here? All right? Everything. You should be able to name this flappy thing, chamber, groove, and 3 blood vessels. Can you do that? Give it a shot. Let me know what you get. Similarly, can you name everything here? Try this out. Test yourself and come talk to me. Same deal. Test yourself. Now we're looking at the back. How did I know that was the back? How did I know? And what can I see? Try and label all these things. Oh, there it is. I told you about doing the probe like that. Can you name all of these things? Can you tell what ventricle has been opened? Can you label this guy? Can you label this blood vessel here? Can you tell what ventricle has been opened here? And can you label everything? Again, check your answers with me. Come see me in before lab, after lab, in open lab. Stop by. And that was the last slide. Another video that is not crazy long. I love that. Love being done in under 20 minutes. Hopefully that was fun for you. If you're watching this before you've dissected the heart, you got a great idea of what to look for. If you're reviewing, you know what to, you've got some experience with the heart. You're doing a good job studying, which is excellent. All right. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.